Hello, everyone.
I'm hiding.
Welcome to Liquid Lunch, episode number 5. As always, I'm here, Pat Quinney, sales manager here at Level 6, and I'm joined by this old gray man, Stig Larson. How you doing, Stig?
Good. Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. Yeah.
And we have someone else here who's sleeping.
Not gonna say his name. He's not allowed to say anything until I say his name.
Yeah, right.
He's like the boogeyman. As always, Whitewater Brewery, this beautiful pyramid. Thank you for the beer. If you didn't check out our episode last week, we did an interview with Chris Thompson, one of the founders and owners of Level 6, or not Level 6, Whitewater Brewery.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've had one too many.
Jesus.
Thanks to this pyramid. So yeah, check out episode 4 if you missed it.
Yeah, it was a great interview.
It was a great interview. It was bound to be a lot better than the interview we have today.
Yeah.
So if you didn't notice all the movement behind the cans, we have a very special guest. Somebody I would reluctantly call a friend.
I would say legend
He is
in the industry.
Yeah. He is a legend in the industry, and everyone looks up to him. Andrew, I know you look up to him.
Yeah.
We have Jake Wisse.
It's not Wisse.
It's
Wisse.
No, it's Wisse.
Wisse.
It sounds cooler that way. Jake Wisse from Bending Branches and Aqua-Bound Paddles. He's the sales manager there. Jake, present yourself.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
It's actually Wisse.
Move these down.
It rhymes with sissy and pissy. Yeah, sounds like Wisse.
So
You actually
Wisse.
mispronounced it. God, I forgive you.
It's actually Wisse, eh?
It's Wisse. It's
You
Dutch.
should just pronounce it Wisse.
I asked my kids, and they said, no, Wisse's fine.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't understand them.
I don't understand them either. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, no worries, man. It's super exciting to have you here in our neck of the woods.
I do want to say
Go ahead.
that
Say whatever you want.
the folks back at Aqua-Bound and Bending Branches, there was a humongous collective eye roll when you said legend. It was like I could actually hear their headaches starting from their eyes rolling back in their head so far.
I don't think they appreciate the greatness that...
That's what I've been telling them. Well.
So you've been on a tour of Ontario. Is this your first time in Ontario, or have you been here before? Okay.
I've been here before.
Yeah, you're old. You've been doing this for a long time.
Yes.
Yes. So how long have you been with Bending Branches? Tell us about Jake, the legend.
Okay. Jake the legend, or just
Jake?
Okay.
Yeah,
Just Jake.
So I was with Bending Branches from 2001 to 2006. And then I always wanted to live on the West Coast, so I took a job with Stolquist Waterware, one of your competitors, and was there for 8 years. And then about 5 years ago, I came back to Bending Branches, and during the time that I was gone, they had acquired Aqua-Bound paddles. And they were a competitor the first time I was there, so we were always, fighting each other. And I was excited about the opportunity to sell both brands, and so I've been back for 5 years.
Awesome, and that's about how long I've known you for. I never knew you
5
as
years.
a sales rep for Stolquist. So I'm glad we can be friends because you don't work for a direct competitor now.
Well, and now that I'm not with Stolquist, Stig probably figured he had a chance.
Yes.
So we hired you.
Yeah.
So
finally, we're gonna make some numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Jake's gone.
Yeah. We did at the trade shows. When I first met Jake, you were at Stolquist, and we would do the spitballs across the aisle together on the whole circuit. But we were always very cordial.
Real professionals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the States, we say cordial.
Cordial.
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it down there?
Yeah.
In Wisconsin?
Yeah.
That's where you're from, right?
It's over. Wisconsin is over technically, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I actually really like Canada.
Well, you pretty much sound Canadian.
I actually, one time, almost didn't get back into the States after a ski trip to Whistler because I sound Canadian, and I had to say the Pledge of Allegiance because no Canadians know the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
No.
So
Nope.
We
don't have one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have O Canada. But
We do have O Canada.
Oh, Canada.
yeah.
Do you know it?
That is so Canada.
I would say you actually sound more Canadian than most Canadians with your
You do.
Wisconsin slang. But
Yeah.
So you just did a tour of Ontario. You went and saw a bunch of customers.
I did.
Yeah.
All
How
of the
was
customers.
It? Did you have a good time?
I did. I did. I put about
everyone was nice?
did about 800 miles. Maybe
What's
1,200 kilometers.
Yeah, okay.
It's not an exact.
Speaking my language,
But roughly, yeah. It was a whirlwind tour, and
covered a lot of distance.
I did. You went to see Complete Paddler, White Squall. No, you didn't.
Didn't see them.
Guess I wasn't listening.
Trailhead Kingston, Sojourn, White Squall, Algonquin Outfitters, Swift. Bunch of other people in there.
Yeah.
Sorry if I forgot you.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good.
Yeah, you enjoyed it?
Yep. A lot of good specialty retailers in Ontario.
Yes.
So.
And good craft beer, which is what we're drinking right now. What
Delicious.
do you think of Whitewater Brewery?
This is delicious. I'm an IPA guy.
Yeah.
And
you had about 6 since you got here about an hour ago.
Stig told me if I didn't finish all of these that he was going to kill me.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ed, I tried to mitigate this.
Yeah.
Ed is the owner of Bending Branches and Aqua-Bound paddles.
Yeah. Hi, Ed.
He's definitely a little bit worried about what could happen today.
With good reason.
Ed also brings the bottle of Jack Daniels to the trade shows for the celebratory drink.
He's a fun guy. He's not afraid. He's not afraid to, when the owner of Branches and Aqua-Bound gets that mischievous glint in his eye, you're in for a good time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't even think he's I don't think he's worried about you. I think he's more worried about
us.
The influence
he doesn't have to worry about you
has on you.
Yeah.
Oh,
sure. I know you
it's
look
all
up to
Stig's
him.
fault.
You look up to him.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So.
Yep. Also, I will say that Farmer's Daughter is fantastic, and my girlfriend is actually a farmer's daughter. So, special place in my heart, again? Susie.
Susie. Hi, Susie.
Yeah. She's probably not watching.
She's probably not watching.
You said it. I said it before you did.
Before you got into paddle sports, you had a career in voiceovers, and I think you do a little bit of stand-up comedy, or you used to?
I wouldn't say I had a career in it, but I did it.
You did it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So.
Can you do like a little voiceover thing for like level 6 right now?
Sure.
Go.
I'm not your monkey.
Please.
I did a commercial for. I could adapt one. Let's see.
Yeah.
Earth. Without level 6, it would get pretty stuffy. So try the Emperor Dry Suit.
Hey, that's good.
It'll keep you dry when you want to be dry. Because that's what a dry suit does. There.
Jesse usually does our voiceovers, but I think he's shit.
He's really not good at it.
Jesse's
you're fired. Behind the camera.
Yeah. Jesse, you're fired. Jake, you're hired.
Well, I'm going to go home now.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesse.
Got the cord. Show's over.
Do you have enough beer back there, Jesse? You going to be able to make it through this episode?
Oh, I'll take off your pyramid there.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Excellent. So yeah, you did voiceovers and you did like stand-up comedy and stuff. Do you still do stand-up comedy?
I dabble. Yeah.
You dabble?
I dabble in stand-up comedy.
How long are your sets usually?
3 minutes.
3
Usually, if it's like an open mic night, they'll give you 3 minutes. If I'm like in a different city, they think you're kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Or they guess you might be, so you might get 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you travel for Bending Branches and Aqua-Bound business, do you tend to do
occasionally?
You jump into comedy clubs? Okay.
If it works out. If it works out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you start doing stand-up comedy? Because you're one of the like least funny people I know. So
what?
It's really like it must be awkward.
I don't think Pat knows you well enough.
I know. Well, what I do is I really bring it down a notch when I'm around Pat because I don't want him to glom on and become over friendly.
It's true.
As you've seen him do so many times.
I've seen that.
So I try to just play it cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
So yeah.
Now I know all your tricks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you enjoy it? Like the whole comedy thing? What got you into it? Like why?
Yeah, how'd that happen?
Yeah.
How did it happen? I think that stand-up comedy is one of the only places where you can be completely honest and make fun of people and not get in trouble.
Hey, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Right? People laugh and
and
I like making people laugh. Like to have a good time. The paddle sports industry, I kind of feel like people are in the paddle sports and the outdoor industry not because they're chasing the dollar, but because they are passionate about it and they love it. And that's one of the things I like about this industry so much is all the people are in it because they want to be, not because they have to be. So And stand-up is kind of like that as well. So
cool. Do you have any, like, what's your favorite comedian? What's your style that you kind of gravitate towards?
I have a lot of favorite comedians.
Do you like the political satire side of things, or do you just like the silly people?
No, I like all of it. I like all of it. We were talking about Jim Jeffries earlier. He's pretty raunchy. I enjoy him.
But Pat doesn't listen to that because his fiancée Sophie
did not see him in concert a couple years ago.
Right.
Sophie does not approve of that.
Yep. No, I don't think anybody really approves other than dudes.
He's good. He's good.
Great.
Bill Burr. I like Bill Burr.
Yeah.
God, there's so many. I saw Eddie Murphy live when he did not Delirious but Raw when I was a freshman in high school.
Okay.
And that had a very big impression on me, and that's why I tend to be a little filthy.
Yeah.
So my mom taught me, for my high school graduation, my mom gave me a notebook with all the dirty songs she knows, which is a lot of dirty songs.
You sing a lot of those, yeah.
And so that also was obviously quite influential.
Your mother.
My mom. Yep.
Cool.
So.
That's pretty good.
That's crazy, yeah.
All right, well, I'm glad we had this talk, guys.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll see you later.
Interviews will wrap it up.
All right.
See you guys.
It's gonna be the best legal lunch ever.
So, as a sales manager at Bending Branches and Aqua-Bound, how long you've been there? For 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
What are you guys up to these days? Tell us about some of the new goings on that you have going on.
Well, I'm glad you asked.
New goings on.
So the latest and greatest, we have been getting into composites.
Okay.
In a pretty big way. Kind of the cool thing about our team back in Wisconsin, we're just outside of Minneapolis, but over the Wisconsin border, God's country.
Making a murderer's country.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we also have a number of serial killers too. So Jeffrey Dahmer.
He was from there?
He wasn't from there, but he lived there. Like the whole Milwaukee thing. So yep, totally.
Okay. How many people have you killed?
Well, like I tend to. I don't really keep track, but every now and then when you get a little pent up, I like to take out a drifter. But it's usually somebody that nobody notices. So but not everybody. Everybody dies, but not everybody truly lives. So Mel Gibson said that. This is our full carbon whiskey bent shaft, and what was I talking about? Composites.
Yeah,
what are we doing? What are we doing?
What are you guys doing at Bending Branches?
And it's just like right in the picks right now. Jake, don't even bother coming back.
That's
your emotion.
That's why I thought we should finish it a couple minutes ago. When I had
we hit our peak.
Hey, that's mine. So we just came out with this bent shaft. One of our engineers, his name is Corey Novinska. He's 29 years old, and I beat him in a triathlon earlier this year, in a run, paddle, bike triathlon.
Oh, you broke your hand?
No, I did that mountain biking 2 weeks ago. Whoops. Anyway, he did an amazing job on this paddle, did like an entire ergonomic study of so like the actual grip is like a triangular ovalization that fits the hand very nicely. This in particular, this paddle weighs in the straight shaft. I'm going to talk in grams for a second. I actually wrote it down. The straight version is 650 grams, and the bent version is 725 grams.
So probably like lighter than this beer. Full beer. Close?
Less filling. For sure.
What's the name of it, Jake?
This is the Aqua-Bound whiskey. That's the high angle blade. The low angle blade is called the Tango, so the whiskey and the Tango. See what we did there?
Yeah. So it's a good question. What is the difference between a high angle and low angle blade?
Well,
I'm sure you get that question all the time, but explain it to our wonderful viewers.
Okay.
All 6 of them.
We're gonna get into paddle angles. Okay. So
offset, offset.
High angle,
now?
High angle stroke, more aggressive. You can't hold anything with this stupid cast on.
Yeah.
A high angle blade is going to be usually wider and shorter. Low angle blade is going to be longer and skinnier. You're going to see this more in like a touring application, long days, great for windy days, especially because it doesn't create as much wind resistance. High angle blade generally is more aggressive stroke, more vertical up and down. Low angle is going to be more horizontal.
So I guess, like
I'm surprised you guys don't know this. Actually, you guys make paddling gear for.
Yeah, and we're usually
testing
next to you
Weren't
guys.
you like
We're testing you.
a world champion paddler?
I was a world champion. I was certainly good in the world.
Come
whatever.
on.
What happened?
Whatever.
Old. World champion. That's all the world champions of the world watching me. I never saw you on the podium, Larson. Like, yeah, you're right. I wasn't.
So high angle would be used for, from what I understand, if you're sitting up higher up in your craft, and low angle would be if you're like in a lower, like a craft that sits lower in the water. So like a sea kayak would be low angle blade, and then a high angle would be more of like a fishing kayak where you're sitting on top or sitting.
That influences it, but it has a lot more to do with your personal style and how aggressive you like to paddle.
Okay.
So it's more low angle, right?
I wear my hat backwards, so I'd be like a high angle paddler, and then if I go forwards, low angle.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually.
Gotcha.
So.
Yep. It's personal style.
There you go.
I want to touch upon something you talked about there. You talked about engineers, customizing your thing. One of my questions was, so Bending Branches Aqua-Bound, made in America, made in USA. You guys, you sit in the same building that the paddles are made. So that has challenges, of course, with the pricing structure of making things North America versus making things offshore. But you get to do some pretty cool things. You get to work hands-on with the people actually assembling the paddles. What's that like? What are the challenges of that? What is challenges and successes?
Yeah.
You get to create innovative products before anybody else.
Yep.
Challenges being though very price sensitive.
Yes.
Yes. How do you mitigate that? How do you keep that?
It's very hard to compete being a North American manufacturer versus a lot of the Asian product that's coming out. And just from a price standpoint, our team, we have a lot of engineers, and we're very automated. We can make a lot of paddles in a very short period of time, but we, like in car manufacturing, they don't actually go by minutes because they need to break down the seconds in less than a second. Like a second isn't enough time. Our engineers talk about like that would be awesome. Like if we didn't actually have to measure time in seconds because a second is too long. So like we literally will do time studies, and we are incredibly automated. It's got its advantages and disadvantages, but a very passionate group of people about keeping as much, if not all, of our manufacturing in the United States or in North America. Well, it's in Wisconsin. I'm not gonna say it's not, because that's where it is.
It's pretty much on the
So I'm in Canada right now.
Half Canada, half US.
Right.
It's a murder capital.
Yes,
state,
you're
right?
right.
Well, we've got
per
football
capita.
and cheese and
Lots of good cheese, actually.
More brandy per capita is consumed in Wisconsin than in the rest of the United States combined, too, which is pretty cool.
Deep fried cheese curds.
Yep.
Yeah, Jesse had those for the first time. Brought him to Wisconsin for
Kinukopia.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was first introduced to Aqua-Bound when I was probably 15, 16 years old.
1950s?
1950s. You were sponsoring Tyler Curtis, Ken Whiting, and like the Whitewater Blades. That's how I first knew about Aqua-Bound. So I've seen this brand grow and do its thing. Bending Branches, I didn't really notice until probably
5 years ago when Jake...
when Jake was there.
Just kidding.
But I noticed like the paddles, Bending Branch, like they're beautiful, stunning wood paddles.
Yeah. So handcrafted wood canoe paddles is how we got started back in '82. Dale Kicker and Ron Hultman founded the company, and they basically wanted to bring bent shaft canoe paddles to the masses. So the only people that were using bent shaft canoe paddles were racers, and they were winning every race. And so it's about a 20...
Should have been using a bent shaft.
I was. What's up? Not wood though. Because I'm busting them. Goes the bikes.
So, I don't know what I was talking about. Bent shaft canoe paddles.
Beautiful wood
They
paddles.
are beautiful paddles.
They're beautiful.
Yeah. It's actually a wicked video. I don't know if Jesse can pull it up. The kind of story of Bending Branches.
Yeah.
Where they show the paddles being made, and and lacquered and dipped and finished.
Yes.
Pretty impressive to see.
A lot of work that goes into them.
A lot.
Yeah.
It takes about 4 days to make a canoe paddle.
Really?
From start to finish. Yep. Yep. 4 layers
guy?
of varnish.
4 days? No.
Yeah, one guy makes all of them. No, we've got a whole team. It's very like we hate making one paddle, but we do it.
Yeah.
No, it's a painstaking, very laborious process.
Okay.
Very, very beautiful paddles. But yeah, canoe paddles is where we got our start. We made wood kayak paddles. You don't see as many of those anymore, just because the strength to weight ratio of carbon and fiberglass and composites has gotten pretty amazing. So so the Bending Branches brand is really known for canoe and kayak fishing.
Yeah.
So we got a very strong kayak fishing brand, very salt of the earth. This is
I have another one.
This is only my first beer since we
taste.
started. But kayak fishing is one of the growing segments of the kayak market. Very big in the southeast of the United States, and we have a history of fishing. It's a lot of people will talk about like what's the difference, like what's a fishing paddle.
Yeah.
You don't fish with it. But kayak fishermen are using a paddle as a tool. They're not out there paddling just for the joy of paddling. So they want something that's a little bit more durable, and so just using a regular paddle is okay. But we make our fishing paddles. They're typically longer because fishing kayaks are wider, and a lot of times they have raised seats, and so we have adjustable length paddles. They're typically longer. Actually, this year we're coming out with 270 and 280 centimeter paddles, because some of these fishing kayaks are
Huge.
36, 40 inches wide.
You need a
45.
trailer to put them in the water now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's really the Bending Branches side. The Aqua-Bound side is more kayak touring, people who are kayaking for the love of kayaking as opposed to kayaking to catch fish, and whitewater stand-up paddleboarding. So very different consumer bases.
Yep.
One of the other cool things I think about paddling is that it's the range of people that we sell to is all over the place. So you can be at a demo and there'll be a kayak ninja who's a sea kayak instructor, and he's going to be wearing a dry suit and a life jacket, and he's going to have all the safety gear, and he's dressed, as if he's going to, be fighting for his life in sub-zero temperatures. And at the same time, there'll be a yoga instructor in a bikini paddling right next to him, getting a suntan, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the two contrasting consumers.
Yeah, and you're the latter of the paddlers, right? Like you do a lot of yoga.
Yes. I'm usually in a bikini.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah,
Downward dog.
super diverse sport for sure.
Actually, that's going to be the second portion of the Liquid Lunch today. Is we're going to be doing some yoga poses.
Yeah.
So
in bikinis.
Yep.
Yeah.
We just lost all of our followers.
They're all gone. Do we have any questions yet, Jesse? Gentle reminder: if you have questions for Jake, we'll try our best to make sure he answers them.
You have to be logged. A lot of people don't know. You have to be logged into YouTube.
Okay, so if you can't hear Jesse, you need to log into YouTube to be able to ask questions. So I take it there's no questions.
People have been texting me.
Andrew's talking on the chat though.
Andrew's
our marketing manager at.
And he's actually one of my favorites from Bending Branches, more so than Jake. I wish he was here actually.
I do too.
Teleporter.
Yeah.
He might know the way to the battles.
Hi, Andrew.
Yeah.
Miss you. See you in a couple weeks.
Aw.
You were saying that the paddles behind you look like the Iron Throne, but we didn't want to boost your ego.
Oh,
Nicely done.
That is nicely done.
That is good.
I'm super involved. I love the manufacturing questions because that's really where I kind of, at level 6, I love the production side of things and how fabrics come together and designing things. But in the garment industry, that kind of left years and years ago, as everyone in the mill started moving away from Montreal and they went offshore. So all the manufacturing of the high-tech fabrics went offshore as well. But I love that side of things. And then when I see this and I see what it's all made in your facility, it blows my mind.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
The ability, the angle adjustment, that little clicky thing, like all, and you have your injection molding on your pumps that you make.
The posi lock.
It's ridiculous, like how all that stuff comes together.
Clicky thing.
So, I would love to actually come to your factory and do a tour and hang out because
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
But you're actually not allowed in the States anymore. So
what?
Yeah,
I'm going there in a couple weeks.
Not anymore. You're not.
I have to use my Swedish passport.
Oh.
Under the radar.
Do you actually have a Swedish passport?
I do.
Really?
I do.
He's Swedish.
Citizen.
Larson is spelled with 2 S's.
2 S's.
Yeah.
So
Lars'
you
son.
know it's real.
Yeah.
You also probably couldn't tell he's Swedish because the first name's Stig.
Oh.
It is very common in North
Stig.
America.
He had some friends over last night for dinner, and they both called him Stiggy.
Stiggy.
I kind of enjoyed that.
I used to call him
Stiggy.
Stiggy Pop.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I have
He also drank a lot of scotch.
names.
Scotch.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
But not Jake.
Not Jake.
No,
Jake's
like
like
brown
I
brown.
don't like
Went to
brown
bed.
liquor.
Yeah, it gets
Really?
violent.
No.
So yeah, for me, I think it's super impressive that all happens in one facility.
I wish I
Start to
had
finish.
some wood canoe paddles. These were the samples I brought for my trip,
Yeah.
and
What are people mostly buying these days? As far as like, if you're a retailer, what are the most common kayak paddles and canoe paddles that people are carrying these days? I'm sure there's like a huge range, but like, what are you selling the most of?
That's one of my questions here, Quinny.
I
Trends
read
in the
it.
industry.
I read
Trends.
it.
please don't fight.
I knew it.
There's a lot of tension. It's been a long
our
week.
best-selling kayak paddle is the Stingray Hybrid. I don't have it here.
Why is
I
that
can
the
bring it
best
up.
selling?
It is. It's a fantastic value. The weight to price ratio is awesome. I think it's 4 ounces lighter than anything else at that price point. It's got a full carbon shaft. It's actually got an injection molded blade. So it's very durable, but it's as light as a lot of compression molded product.
Yeah.
Composites. And that is by far, like, I travel all over North America and actually quite a bit in Europe. And people are like, that's my go-to paddle. That's what I sell the most of. And so that's really one of the bread and butter paddles that we make. Our best kayak fishing paddle is probably the classic. I like the Ace. I think the Ace is actually a little kind of a better value, but very awesome. And then in wood canoe, we sell a lot of Arrows and BB specials. Those are kind of the go-to.
Susie's watching.
Susie's watching. Oh, hi,
Yeah.
Susie. That's my girlfriend. So
The bikinis are coming out in a second, Susie.
I have a question for you then. So since Pat was going to go on that route, how are the trends changing? I know for us, as we have grown past couple of years, we've gone away from like really hardcore dry tops have been replaced by dry suits. Like people are going dry suits right now. With what you guys are doing, how are the trends going? Are they going? Is it price driven? Is it like price point and lighter weight, or is it composite, or is there a trend back towards authentic wood? Like is that kind of that hipster movement of traditionalist? Yeah, I won't say hipster anymore, but traditionalist movement of going back to handcrafted wood.
Well, okay, so the growing areas
That's a lot of questions.
that's a lot of questions.
I can go back slowly if you
I'm
want.
actually sweating under all of the weight of this question, and it might be that huge light as well.
Yeah.
So high-end canoe paddles are doing really well. That's a strong market. Actually, there's a lot of very nice composite canoes coming out.
It's been a whole resurgence in the whole canoe industry.
Well, even the high-end sea kayaks. I remember years ago talking to some local dealers in the high-end sea kayak market, like Boreal Designs was a really big one here in Canada. And there was a ton being sold, and it just stopped. It all went down to where the price point plastic
Riot,
was. And now it's gone back to the high end again.
Yeah, so like in sea kayaks, really long sea kayaks used to sell really well.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, kind of died off, and now there are more sea kayaks, and that's doing pretty well, but they're not nearly as long as they used to be. So we're not seeing a lot of like incredibly long sea kayaks out there. The performance on, say, like my first sea kayak was a Prion Seac, and that was, I think, like 17 feet long or so. You don't see a lot of those anymore. And now you can get almost the same performance out of a 14-foot boat as you used to be able to get out of a 17-foot boat. So, and in Wisconsin,
how's that possible?
it's magic.
Magic.
I don't know. I don't.
Minions.
I don't actually make boats.
Okay. Right.
Just paddles. Actually, I still have a 16.7. So I still have a sea kayak. I like the long boats. So, what else is growing? Kayak fishing is still doing quite well.
Yep.
We're seeing kind of like the mid-range of paddles is sort of going away.
Mm-hmm.
So now every box store has got a super crappy kayak that you can buy for practically nothing.
Yeah.
I was just in one earlier today, and you can get a super crappy kayak for $2.99
really?
Canadian. $2.99 Canadian.
Is that Home Depot?
Yeah, it's
So,
like 50 cents US. It's crazy.
Yeah. And so, like these people that are basically just, floating and drinking, instead of buying an inner tube, now they're buying a really crappy kayak. And we hope, as paddle sports manufacturers, that some of those people will enjoy the sport and upgrade into some good gear. But like our more economical range of paddles, $60 to $100 US. We're not selling nearly as many of those,
right?
Because there's $20, $30 paddles, and you can get all that stuff at Amazon and that kind of thing. But we're seeing a lot more of the mid to high end. The nice injection molded nylon and polyethylene paddles, and then like the composites.
Mm-hmm.
I think like as a consumer base in almost every sport, you're seeing a shift to carbon composites and very, very lightweight, incredible materials. I'm a big mountain biker. I have a carbon bike, and it is bananas how light some of these bikes are. So,
have you found that since you've been at Bending Branches and Aqua-Bound, have you found that the technology in the composites for sure have changed so much that what you created 5-6 years ago is so I'm not saying redundant, but it's not anywhere near comparable to what you have now with the new techniques of carbon, the resins, or
for us, we have made huge gains in the last 5 years because we've really focused on it, and we've got a lot of, like I said, we have a lot of engineers. Even Andrew Stern, our marketing manager, I would call him a marketing engineer.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
He's in the back. He's doing.
Oh yeah, analytics and numbers, and he's got it. So as a sales guy, it's phenomenal for me because I never have to worry. Like our breakage rates, we don't really talk about this stuff to consumers very often because they don't break they hardly ever break. It's less than 0.5%.
Yeah.
Is what we see. So it doesn't happen. Yeah. So and our customer service team is fantastic. So
how big is the team at Bending Branches?
So we're very seasonal, obviously. Not a lot of paddling happens in the winter, unfortunately.
Yeah, especially where you guys are at.
Yep,
it's colder than where we're at.
Because winter.
Yeah, it's winter.
Yeah, you guys.
We're pretty much on the same
longitude.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're in Ottawa right now, and I live kind of by Minneapolis. So and it is hot.
It's hot right now.
Heat wave. But I forgot your question already.
How many people?
Yeah.
Oh yes. Okay. So very seasonal. So we have a lot of temp help in the summer, like right now. We have probably about 35 full-time folks.
Amazing. Cool.
Yep. Great.
And then
team.
in like slow time, is it cut down by half or?
No, that's slow time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then we have a lot of temps on top of that.
Right.
Peak would be 50, 60 people. Is it almost double?
The other thing, it's not double, but probably maybe 15. It depends. It depends on the year.
Yeah.
The other thing that is unique about us is we build everything to order.
Yeah.
So
no inventory.
We have no finished goods inventory. We have a little bit of wood paddles in stock because they take 4 days. So if you buy a bunch of, these types of paddles and you've got some wood paddles in there, we don't want to slow down the whole order while we take 4 days to make a wood paddle. So
that's really cool.
So we have a very small inventory, but no, our team is like inventory is lean manufacturing. Yeah. Inventory is the root of all evil. So we have a lot of raw materials where we can make a lot of different products out of it. But that way, if like a big customer goes bankrupt for for example, no specific example, but that has happened.
Yeah.
We can say
A lot of acronym store names.
yeah, we can just say, oh, okay, well that business is like our raw materials manager, Steve Swanson, is unbelievable with inventory, and he will just say, okay, I like this shipment of shafts, slow that down, slow this down, you know, and we manage it. So
So even in the wintertime, like I know Confluence, they rotomold their kayaks in the States, and they build up a lot of inventory in the fall because it takes a long time to make these boats, and then for the spring delivery. So even you guys don't pre-build things to have stock in November, December. You don't have the orders for it.
So what we do two things. We offer deals to retailers that buy in the off season.
Yeah.
Because we've got
Cash flow.
Yep. And there are places in the world where people can paddle all year long.
Yep.
So we've got this state in the U.S. called Florida, and it's really warm.
Yeah.
It's warm all year round.
Muggy.
There's a lot of good headlines that come out of that place.
Oh yeah. It's flat and buggy, and personally, I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah.
But you can paddle all year long.
Yeah. It's a runner-up to Wisconsin as far as serial killers go.
I believe you're right.
Yeah.
I believe that is true, actually. It's so funny because we were just talking about serial killers like 2 weeks ago in the lunchroom. For some reason, I don't know. Did somebody just kill a bunch of people?
Yeah. What's the culture like at Aqua-Bound Bedding Branches?
Lots of serial killers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the culture here is really like stuffy.
Yeah. Yes. Stig is.
I know Ed really well. I
Yeah.
know Andrew. I know you. I met some of your interns at Communicopia.
Yep.
Certainly a lot of fun is had.
Yep.
It seems at the shows.
Uh-huh.
Is it like that at the office too? Like, is it like
No.
No.
No, it is miserable.
Miserable.
Yeah. I try to get Ed to let me work from home all the time, and he's like, no.
Well, because he knows you.
Yeah.
You're not gonna
Work from home.
Yeah,
As in
yeah.
sleep.
So
and drink
hang out with the
vodka.
dogs.
Yeah. So
No one here works from home either
well, I don't blame
for that
you.
reason.
So
Look at this guy.
Are you serious right
look at
now?
this guy.
Just carrying the team.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Crushing sales
Yeah.
while I'm eating my omelet.
Yeah, my shoulders hurt actually. There's a lot of weight on these things right now.
That's actually pretty good. What was the question? Culture. No,
What's
we've
the
got
culture
a
like?
great culture. I've got a great memory.
From the outside looking in, it looks like an amazing brand.
It is. We've got a great culture. We have a lot of fun. Probably the craziest thing is that, and I'm going to put this all on our owner, Ed. He cares about our employees so much that, we have employee, basically like self-improvement trainings, like emotional intelligence, not workshops necessarily, but like we will, like, especially in the off season, we'll always have some sort of a personal improvement, employee improvement kind of a training, and it could be emotional intelligence, it could be about lean manufacturing. A lot of our team members belong to groups outside, like the Manufacturers Alliance. We actually just won an award, Manufacturer of the Year, for this group in the Minnesota-Wisconsin region.
Amazing. Congrats.
Yep, for small manufacturers. So that's pretty cool. But very passionate about like our team, and also very transparent. So we'll have about 10 all company meetings per year, and Ed will talk about like what's happening, and we've got quarterly goals that we're all working on. We're working on particular projects kind of outside the normal day-to-day work, and but like Ed will share exactly what's happening with the company.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter if you're on the management team or if you are sanding paddles or or if you're a temp, you actually get to hear the high-level stuff that everybody's working on. You get to hear about the financials. You get to hear about everything.
That's super interesting. I always found that
Stig's not doing that, right? He doesn't tell you
kind of that.
anything.
he buys beer.
Here it is. This is our financial meeting right here.
Oh, good. I didn't want to be the first one to crack a second beer.
No, have at her.
I would say, because I knew Ed from the trade show scene, but then couple years ago, there was a whole big shift from outdoor retailer to paddle sports retailer. And 5 of us started this paddle sports, well, a bunch of the entire industry started this paddle sports trade coalition, and Ed and I and a couple others are on the board of it. I really got to learn how Ed functions, and on multiple phone calls, and just understanding him. I think it's you're right. He has a passion for not just his company but also his employees and
seeing people thrive. Yeah,
he see people thrive in it. And I think it's rare to have an owner so integrated into the actual daily ongoings, like Bending Branches, Aqua-Bound level 6, immersion research.
You don't know any other brands, do you?
I mean, Cocatat for sure, but where the owner is actually on the floor, connecting with the people, and making sure that when that comes in, that paddle is exactly straight, or that that carbon is perfect, or that dry suit is perfect. It doesn't happen very much anymore. You got the Confluence of the world where it's a board of directors, and it's owned by another company of another company. Yeah. And for them, it's just about dollars to get those boats out as fast as possible.
Right.
And you lose sight of what the brand was all about. So I think it's great seeing companies like Bending Branches, Aqua-Bound that are still, locally made, sourced, employing local people. Yeah. But also there's a lot of passion towards the brand still.
Totally.
So,
yeah, it's very cool.
Which is very cool.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely sets brands apart. Ed's always, what I like about him is he's always he gives people the time of day. It doesn't matter where you kind of come from or what your role is. He, even working at a separate company, he always kind of takes the time to say hello and catch up. So it is super important. On that note, as far as Bending Branches and Aqua-Bound, what sets you guys apart? I know we kind of discussed the culture and stuff like that, but is there a one topic or tag that you would add to Bending Branches and Aqua-Bound that sets you guys apart from people? Not to put you on the spot.
Well,
which I just did.
The marketing team won't let me touch the social media because
it's good. Yeah.
Even though in our high school yearbook
for dick pics.
Someone hacked our social media once, and there was some pictures on Instagram
some
of
nudies.
Some nudies.
Creepy nudies. They were really weird.
Really weird nudies.
Oh, I don't follow you guys.
Yeah, well, we deleted them quickly.
It was Pat. It was me.
Yeah, it was like one of those. Oh, these pictures leaked. How did that happen?
Well, it's like when Pat takes the level 6 credit card and starts buying haircuts and Uber Eats and Pat, what are all these? Oh, sorry, I forgot.
Must have been
somebody stole the
card. Oh, if you pay your people,
seriously,
you could afford.
But obviously
this goes back to the whole culture thing. That's right.
Yeah, totally. So
because Sophie's taking it all and hiding it.
Was there a question? There was a question.
There was a question.
Was the one thing?
So I think the thing that separates us is, or differentiates us is, there's a couple of different things. On the, more on the just the service side, you can go to any paddle sports retailer in North America, and they will say that our customer service is better than anybody. And we do what we say we're going to do. We constantly have retailers that say, if every one of my vendors was like you guys, my job would be 10 times as easy. So, and sometimes it's just we'll have people that will actually come to us and say, I can't get this product ever without headaches or back orders or whatever. And, can you make this product? Right. And we do a lot with wood. So, it might be like snowshoes or something like that. But that's happened. And we'll actually look into it and say, okay, is this feasible? Do we have the core competencies? Things like that. So on a product level, we try to make every one of our paddles the lightest paddle at its price point.
Okay. So that is your
almost, that it doesn't always happen, but most of the time that is the case. Okay. So like I talked about the Stingray Hybrid, 4 ounces lighter at about $150 US. I think it's $190 Canadian. It's $180 Canadian. like that's 4 ounces lighter than anything else. I don't know what 4 ounces is in grams.
I forget now too.
It's 28 grams per ounce. It's
A lot of legalized weed.
120-ish
Grams.
lighter. So we try to that. We want to have like the best paddle at each price point. You know, it can never always happen at every price point, but most of the time,
that's how it works.
Yeah.
So can you then walk me through? This paddle here. This was touched by 35 people at your not physically touched, but
there's a lot of bacteria on
35
that
people
thing right now.
at the factory made this thing happen.
No, that's not true.
You said 35 employees.
Yeah, but not everybody touches that.
No, but they're part of it.
Yes.
How did this happen? Who walk me through? Engineer designed this blade.
Yep. So
shaft is made.
Corey Nowinska.
Let's throw a name to it. How does so people can really understand how this thing came
start to finish
be here?
Yeah, from the design to
how we doing for time, by the way?
We're okay.
We've been going for 45 minutes.
Okay.
What's
We're
the
good.
name of that paddle there? You got?
This is the Aqua-Bound Malta.
Oh, Todd Benson from NRS just texted me.
The what?
Todd, what did Jake do to his hand?
Well, if you had been watching the whole thing, Todd's kind of busy. You probably didn't watch the beginning. I broke my hand mountain biking. So
Todd is busy.
I overshot the landing to a jump and, landed in the woods like a hefty bag filled with chicken noodle soup.
Nope, I know the story. You fell over when you landed here in Ottawa.
I also want to, before we forget, because
This happened a couple days ago, and it's not covered by healthcare.
Todd Benson would be awesome to have in this too. Another fantastic legend in the industry.
You should have him.
Hilariously sarcastic.
Sorry, Jake. What was the name of that paddle?
Malta.
The Malta.
Okay, back on topic.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
It's an island in the Mediterranean.
Oh,
You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
So we decided to make a composite sup paddle.
Okay.
That was the first step.
Yep.
That took maybe 5 years. Just kidding. Maybe not. Actually, we don't move. As a sales guy, I want everything instantaneously, and
you are high maintenance.
And I am super high maintenance.
You have lived with me for a couple days this week, and I know.
Super annoying, and I will hound you until you finally cave.
Yeah.
So we decided to come out with this paddle, and Corey Nowinska, SolidWorks. God, I hope it's SolidWorks is the software program, and he basically designed the whole thing.
Okay.
We did, I'm going to say, 7 or 8 different iterations. Mm-hmm. Took it out, tested it. At one point, we threw on some dry suit. It's really hard to test paddles in Wisconsin in December.
Yep.
So you guys were wearing level 6 dry suits on your testing
We
stuff.
were, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we were.
Okay,
yes,
good.
we were.
Thank you. I appreciate the support.
We were below a dam in St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin, on the St. Croix River, where the only open water was. And we were in dry suits, stand-up paddleboarding and testing these things. And we were like, the whole goal with this paddle was we wanted the smoothest forward stroke on the market.
Okay.
So we're not going for the Sup Ninja or the Kayak Ninja that's circumnavigating Iceland. There are people that are doing that. The 5 people that are doing that probably aren't going to buy our paddle.
Yep.
And we're okay with that. We want the kayaker that is enjoys paddling, and as they age, they want lighter gear, they want nicer gear, they can afford it, frankly, and they just want to be comfortable, and if we can give them a paddle that doesn't flutter, doesn't make them over grip and get prematurely tired, they can stay out on the water longer. And so that's our whole thing, is like, how comfortable can we make your paddle experience? How light can we make this paddle? How smooth can we make the paddle stroke? And so
a ton of thought happens before you even create that first mold.
Yes, there is always a goal. We will write a project scope. We will say, who is our consumer? Andrew's actually done an insane amount of research on the consumer for the Tango and the whiskey paddles. Kevin and Karen are their names. They're lovely people. They are...
Wait, they just test your paddles out and then give Andrew feedback?
No, these aren't real people.
Oh.
These are just...
Missed that.
These are just
right over my head.
Like the
Good joke.
The consumer.
That was funny.
That wasn't actually a joke. That was, you'd be laughing if it was a joke.
Well, it's debatable.
So,
And now we're stabbing Jake's comedian.
alrighty.
Okay,
So we know exactly, like, okay, who is the target demographic?
Yeah.
What do they want?
Yep.
How much are they paddling? What boats are they paddling? You know, what do they care about? How old are they? All that stuff. And so we designed the paddles
Yep.
for those people, and you know, we had and then we'll test all the competitive paddles out
Yep.
there. This is actually one of my favorite stories. So this Tangle blade is based on the Stingray hybrid blade, which is our best-selling blade. And we were doing a lot of this injection molded product for years. And we have all these people that were paddling our paddles, but when they wanted to upgrade, there wasn't anything for them to upgrade to because we weren't really doing a lot in composites.
Right.
And so they're like, you're forcing me to go to your competitors. We're like, well, we can't have that.
Yeah.
So we designed the Tango, and we did all this testing of all kinds of different blades, and the Stingray was actually the smoothest forward stroke paddle in the market of everything that we tested. It was like, and we'd go on these paddling trips, and people would have all these different options, and people were defaulting to like $150 paddle when they could use all this full carbon stuff because it was so nice to paddle and so smooth.
Right.
And so it was very telling. It was just like, okay, there's a $350 carbon paddle and no one's using it because it flutters so much
Yeah.
that they've got to
Yeah.
grip the hell out of it, and they get tired and
the
they get
shape
pissed.
is what's actually what matters.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
It's a
we
skeleton.
were, so we really just used that as the determining factor, and so we basically designed a paddle that's a more high performance version of our Stingray, and that's the Tango. So the other thing that we did is we've been really trying to improve the Stingray hybrid, and the Manta Ray hybrid is like the high angle version of that paddle. And we spent 2 years on it, and from like a material sciences standpoint, there's nothing we can do without making it heavier. So we're trying to increase the strength to weight ratios and see if we can reduce cost and all this stuff. And we have a lot of engineers.
Yeah.
And so everybody's taking a stab at it, and we were like,
Nailed it.
we feel like in our high angle blade, if you make it any thinner, you get blade warp, which doesn't really look good on the shelf, and it doesn't paddle as well. And you know, generally that will, some of the blades that come out of the mold will have a tiny bit of that, and those don't make it, right? Those get chucked or chopped up and reused, and so it's like there's nothing we can do to make this any better. Like, and then it's like, okay, Andrew, make the graphics prettier, right?
Okay.
Because that's all we can do. So
blade R&D and I guess the reason why, so when you're, obviously competing against, back to the whole offshore manufacturing versus, USA manufacturing, you've got so many R&D moments in these paddles. And I've been to trade shows where you've gone to, I'll call it, like Asia aisle or Chinese aisle, where they've got a copy of your paddle and they're trying to make it. But people forget that, when you're buying this, you're buying an Aqua-Bound Bending Branches paddle, you're buying all that R&D stuff.
Right.
And of course your beer budget,
That and then the support that goes along with it. Like back to what we were talking about earlier when I asked Jake about like the whole what sets Bending Branches apart, and that whole small company feel to it, where if you call Bending Branches, you call Aqua-Bound, or you call Level 6, you can talk to the owner of the company, you can talk to the sales manager, you can talk to the production manager, you can talk to, you know what I mean? Like you're talking to a person there who actually cares about the product, as opposed to somebody who's just like pumping this out on a mass level. And
you can buy a paddle or a supboard or a paddling jacket on Alibaba for half the price, but what you're forgetting is that all that R&D to get to the point of that original first one and support of that is what you're paying for as well. It's not just not down to the dollars.
Yeah.
You know, it's about the paddle's cheaper on Alibaba, but it's you're forgoing all that R&D
all
work.
the other stuff that goes along with it, right?
Well, there's also a very different mentality, I think, on this side of the hemisphere, in that when we design something, we typically will start from scratch.
Yeah.
We won't say, okay, this is the best there is on the market. Let's start with what they have and see if we can make it better.
Right.
Which we see a lot in Asia, to be frank. It's
Who's Frank?
Frank is he's waiting for us.
It's like Karen.
Yeah. So, but that's actually happened where I've been at a trade show and a potential supplier, like somebody that's trying to get our business, will come up to me and say, you know, hey, look, this is your blade. We can make this for you, and it's a knockoff of our blade, and they're probably thinking, hey, like,
I can just make this more efficient.
Aren't we great? You know, like aren't you impressed? And our reaction is, hey, man,
has nothing to do with our
culture. You're ripping off our stuff, man.
Well, that, and then you're making a bad name for what we're doing, right?
Right. And they're like, oh, we can make this blade for you, and like we're good. We're already doing this. So, and I don't know if they think that we're getting this stuff from some other Chinese manufacturer and they want the business from that guy,
That's
but
totally
no, we're actually making this, so please stop knocking off our shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was in Norway last year and walked into a former store of ours, a former customer of ours, and walked in and saw, there's a Stingray hybrid, there's a Angler Pro, and there was like 4 paddles of ours that they didn't buy from us and didn't have our name on it. And I was like, well, that's where that business went.
Yeah.
But they don't get the value with it. And that's the most important thing that I try to stress to
because
people
I burned it down.
Oh, did you?
So they're no longer with us.
Serial killer Jake strikes again.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So,
in Norway.
Let's just keep that between us 3.
Yeah. And the 6 other people that are tuned in right now.
What? There's more than 6?
200.
There's actually 200 people? That's great.
Any hate tweets?
Yeah, all towards you.
I want a hate tweet.
We haven't gotten one yet.
Can you get Susie to do a hate tweet? Can you text your future fiance?
Susie is way too sweet to do a hate tweet.
Yeah, I can roast you right now. Or Jake is. He's a comedian. He can roast. Do you have anything else you want to talk about with Jake right now?
I think we should let's get this off the manufacturing side thing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about industry, because being a sales, you two are the same people in a sense in the industry. Pat, you are
younger and better looking.
There is that. Jake was once younger,
less talented.
Actually, I saw a photo from Jake in the 1990s,
and
he was like lying down like this. He had these big, like wide pants on.
Z Cavaricci's pretty sweet.
He had
Not to brag.
tips too.
Yeah.
It was cute.
Hey,
sweet mullet.
I met my wife. Sweet mullet.
Jesse, you could probably pull up the mullet picture if you dig through my Facebook page a little bit.
Is it Facebook or Instagram? What do you think?
I check Facebook.
It's one of my favorites.
I don't know if I can do Facebook. Let me
check Instagram then. I don't know. I don't.
And
really
to be honest, you don't
anymore.
look that different, except for like you still look
dressed,
you
except
still
for the mullet.
look young,
Yeah.
but like less stupid.
Yeah. So you guys are both in the industry, and you guys are both.
How are you not sweating profusely? It's so hot right now.
We turned the AC off because it's too noisy.
Yeah, it's too noisy for this.
Holy crap!
So
I just work efficiently.
no one listens to me, by the way. God.
No, go ahead.
Don't forget it.
Yeah. No, well, there's
pass.
actually one thing I wanted to touch upon about industry.
Steal my question.
When you were talking about like the whole just-in-time kind of system that you guys run off for manufacturing, like you guys don't have physical inventory there, right? Like you build for the orders. Pre-season orders. That's a huge thing in our industry where
80% of our total sales is preseason.
Yeah,
we live and die by it.
But the trend is moving away from that. Like, how are you guys accommodating that whole trend where stores no longer want to hold the inventory for 6 months? They expect us to hold the inventory. Like, we're running into issues where we need a bigger warehouse now.
Yeah.
And we just moved into this place like 3 years ago, and it was like double what we used to have.
Yeah, we've outgrown this already. We're still sitting on boxes. My desk is surrounded by boxes.
Yeah. And the thing is that stores now expect us to hold the inventory. So knowing that's the climate, how does Bending Branches and Aqua-Bound deal with that?
That actually works in our favor.
Yeah.
Because we're ready to go.
Okay.
So if like in June of 2015 was the biggest month we ever had. It was like this crazy year, and we had customers that we hadn't, like we had former customers that we hadn't done business with in years that had like gone to, you know, private label Asian manufacturing and done their own thing, and they couldn't get product, and so they're like, shit, what do we do?
Don't swear on this.
Let's call Branches.
all the time.
And
Beneath you.
well, that's what they said. I'm just quoting them. And they said, well, who can respond incredibly fast and get us product?
Yeah.
And we can. So all it really affects is
How many people you hire? Is like, so like, let's say somebody comes in and they're like, you already have a preseason of 5,000 paddles, and let's say LL Bean comes in and says, we need 6,000 paddles. You guys would just hire another, 15 people to manufacture those? Or
we probably have them. Anybody that's going to say, hey, we need 6,000 paddles. Well, nobody ever says we need 6,000 paddles immediately.
I just did.
But no, nobody means it. Are you writing me a PO? Because I will accept it, and your credit better be good. So
he loves his credit card.
yeah, actually, we're gonna
use everything else.
We're gonna need you to prepay. We're gonna need him to prepay so that order.
I would.
So, but if you did give us a 6,000 paddle order, instead of it shipping like within a day or two, we'd be like, actually, this is the other kind of fun thing, like. Anytime things get so busy that we're like, ooh, lead times on X paddles are like 4 days.
Yeah.
You know, because we got to build all this stuff. And we'll be like we feel so bad that we'll be like, hey, we call them, and we call the dealer, and we're like, hey, this is going to take like maybe a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll be like,
yeah, that's great.
Okay, why are you calling me?
Yeah.
Like, because they're
they're
used
so
to it.
used to-
They're like, if it's
They're waiting 6 months or 3 weeks.
if it's less than 3 weeks, they're ecstatic, right?
Yeah.
So
So how many paddles can you pump at? Like, let's say
What's the production
somebody
cost?
came.
I would,
like,
you know,
what's the turnover time?
I gotta
on
get
that?
this. Like, it would be. If anyone at Branches is still watching
this. Andrew's still
Oh,
watching.
they definitely are.
you should text me really quick and say, okay, like, how many paddles at max capacity can we make in a day or a week or something like that? That would be good. But it's
You don't know those things?
because it's a shitload of paddles or a truckload or a boatload depending on how you measure.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. It's a lot. But it's just like people will say, hey, I need 400 of these paddles, and usually it's a couple days. And
Okay, wow, that's impressive.
oh yeah,
so like
it is
in a
fast.
day you could do like 200, like
Easy, easy,
Crazy.
easy.
Even the composite ones, making the
So
blades
what we do is anything that takes a really long time, we will mold a number of these blades in each pattern that they come in. They come in like 3 different patterns.
800 a day.
800 a day. Right, that's pretty good.
Wow. That's insane. Wow.
So, we will.
Pretty much. Wish we had Andrew here instead. He'd be a better guest.
That's true.
I said that in the beginning.
You really should have.
We're stuck with the riffraff.
Yeah. We don't let Andrew out much.
We won't promote this on social media.
I'm gonna.
He can't grow a proper beard.
I found an excellent picture of you at Jake and Pat at Canucopia 2016.
Is this the one where I have
the mustache?
Oh
God, he looks like
I do grow a
mustache.
Oh, he looked like a 70s.
I was actually just
gay
in
porn
that
star. It's phenomenal.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
No, I would. I've seen all your movies.
I was just in Bohemian Rhapsody.
You're Freddie Mercury?
Yeah, I won an Oscar.
I thought he died.
Well, no,
AIDS,
I played his character.
What?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I was in a movie. You didn't notice?
You were in Mr. Robot. Are you the guy from Mr.
Bohemian
Robot?
Rhapsody.
It's the same guy.
Rami Malek.
Okay, I'm Rami
Malek.
Malek. Yeah, are you Rami Malek?
Yeah, that's my
okay. I really liked you in Mr. Robot. You were quite good.
Thanks.
So, I've got some questions for you guys.
Okay.
Ask away.
Okay.
Yeah. How do I wake up?
What's your favorite movie?
Oh. God. Of all time?
Wait.
Of all time?
Yeah.
without being, I'm not going to be artsy here. I'm not going to be like trying to make up some stupid movie that will impress the ladies.
Frozen.
I'm going to say Gone in 60 Seconds. Nicolas Cage.
And there's a reason
that movie.
There's a reason why your wife is already under
Freaking
press.
love that movie.
She was under press like 10 years ago.
60s. I love it.
That's so
the
bad,
soundtrack
dude.
was awesome.
That's so bad, dude.
And who's? Hold on. There's
What?
the Giovanni Ribisi.
Giovanni Ribisi is a very good actor.
Excellent actor.
Yep,
And he was
yep,
in it.
yep.
And
But Nicolas Cage was also in it.
Angelina
Nicolas Cage,
Jolie.
Angela Jolie when she was in her prime.
She was blonde and had dreadlocks, which you
Yep.
don't see a lot.
Nope.
I lost a little bit.
I like that movie. Now I could go and say
she
I
could
also
drive.
liked Stars Born. That was great.
That was good. I bought that one. I bought that
I
one.
don't know. What,
Did you
That's
actually?
good. That's, yeah. Well, I have 2 daughters.
all my movies are when I'm on an airplane flying back and forth to seeing dealers or to the factories. I always watch them on whatever the plane is showing. But if I was to say what was the number one, I still like U2. Like one of my
U2?
favorite albums, U2 Uptown
Bono?
Baby. Love that
Good.
album.
Yeah.
Andrew
He's
says
so
that Gone in
pretentious.
60 Seconds has a 25% on Rotten
I know.
Tomatoes.
I'm not-
Oh, ask Andrew what his favorite movie is. It's got a 4 on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a snowboarding movie I'd never even heard of. It is the worst movie in the history of the world. It's called Blue Streak or Blue Balls
Lagoon?
or something
Balls?
horrible.
Blue Streak's
It's
the one with
Brown
Martin
Streak.
Lawrence.
horrible. No, Blue Streak wasn't bad.
Okay, Pat,
Anyway,
tell me your
Pat,
favorite
what's
movie.
your favorite movie?
I'm a big Martin Scorsese guy,
There we
so
go.
The Departed. Hands down.
Oh,
The Departed is by
That
far.
was
I can
solid.
watch it over and over again.
That's solid.
I mean, I watched it not
Exorcist?
too long ago. Funny story.
Here's a good story. Let's
We
dig.
were in
I'll be the judge of
Orlando.
this.
I'm so
We were in
scared.
Orlando. Well, there's a precursor to this. So we were driving towards Salt Lake City for outdoor retailer when we used to go to outdoor retailer.
Let's keep this.
Yeah, I'll keep it going.
Yeah.
And I'm driving, and then all I hear is like, ah! In the back. And it was Stig's like shift, and he was watching
Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, Cabin in the Woods. And like something happened, and it just like it scared everyone in the vehicle.
The earphones
So-
on, like,
So now our thing is to like when we go on these trade shows, we get Airbnbs
Yeah.
and we watch scary movies. That's like our thing when we're not
Oh
going
my
out and
God.
drinking with Jake. So we watched what was it? The Conjuring and The Conjuring
Yeah.
2 in one night.
Screw
I
that.
sat in my
I hate
bed
that
looking
stuff.
at this like
Stig
shadow
is
in
like,
the corner.
because like Stig is a pretty logical person, but when it comes to these types of movies, he's so illogical. Like shit moves in the room, and he's just
God, I
freaking out. He
so
doesn't
scared.
I
sleep at
can't
all.
watch any of that horror stuff.
It's so good though. So I watched The Nun, not to brag, but I
Yeah.
was by myself in a dark apartment, and I didn't get scared at all. So
One of my scary when we were in Oklahoma City last year, and you left that
God.
early that night to go to drive back to Canada,
yeah, the worst drive I've ever
Yep.
had in my life.
and let's just say Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
And so I went.
Chick-fil-A.
We were in an Airbnb. It had a really weird dirt basement. And you guys left like at 3 o'clock in the morning, so
Yeah.
we were down, and I didn't see a wink from 3 till 9 because I kept
Mhm.
waking up, like hearing noises, checking out the closet doors, looking at the bed. I was like,
Yeah. For somebody who's so logical, man, you
I get scared.
freak the fuck out.
I still tuck the bed sheets underneath my toes. when I
That's
sleep
weird.
at night. I know, because I'm
That's
scared
weird.
like someone grabbing my toes.
You're how old
That's
are
a
you?
person. I'm 46.
60? 66?
46.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
Yeah,
Interesting.
but yeah, The
what's your
Departed.
favorite movie?
The Departed. What's your favorite movie?
It's probably got to be The Princess Bride.
Really?
Or maybe Fletch.
I don't think I've ever seen Fletch.
No, you're
Fargo?
younger.
Fargo
It's okay, but their accents are overdone.
Have you guys seen the new like the Netflix TV shows that they do?
I've heard about it.
Fargo.
I've heard of this Netflix thing.
Amazing, but like the versions of Fargo that they do, like the seasons,
Yep.
they have 3 seasons. Unbelievable. They're so good, and they always have the best actors. Like the latest one was
I'll
Ewan
have to take your
McGregor, and he
word.
played twins.
I do like Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
I also do
Well, there's
really
two
like.
Ewan McGregor, so it's even better.
Oh, it's double the fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually really like musicals, and I'm not ashamed
La La
of that.
Land, for sure you did.
La La Land was amazing.
Andrew says he likes Tombstone, which I also
Nobody
do.
asked
Tombstone is
Andrew.
amazing.
Yeah, it's
we
an
were
amazing movie.
pitching. We have a lot of young people at Branches, and the energy is fantastic. And I've been trying to get them all to watch Tombstone, and
What to
Susie
choose?
Susie
Drink it out,
Schmidt
let her
in
go.
marketing was like, I watched the
We know
first 20
Susie,
minutes
we
and
know.
I didn't get it.
Was Susie at
Susie's a teacher?
No, Susie Cadleck is in customer service.
Okay.
That was a different Susie.
She's a teacher?
She was a teacher.
I liked her. She was
Yep,
funny.
yep, she's great. She's great. She's amazing. And also Susie Schmidt is also amazing. She's in marketing, but she didn't like Tombstone, and I was like, how do you not like Tombstone?
I've never seen it, so I don't know. I'm going to go watch it tonight.
You better.
Yeah,
It's
you're
actually
gonna have to dinner with us
loosely
tonight.
I am
based
going to
on
dinner
true
with you guys.
stories. So.
Yeah.
Get it right.
Yeah.
Any other random questions about
Yeah,
level 6?
go ahead.
That's mostly all I wanted to know.
Really, just the movies?
Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, okay. What set? Oh. What sets apart level 6
Oh.
Like you got to have your elevator pitch.
Yeah.
You know
wanna
what,
take
you know what
this one,
that
or
is,
want me
Pat?
to
You know
take
what an elevator pitch is?
No. I'm in an elevator with a stranger and I just started talking about
You
level
got
six.
30
you have
seconds.
30 seconds to,
Yeah.
to explain why your company, like who you are and what you're about.
Yeah, I think we make the best paddling gear for the best price point on the market as far as performance.
What's the best price point? Is there
Cheap.
only one? You don't make cheap stuff.
No, we don't make cheap stuff. I don't mean in that sense, but I mean like the value you get for
he blew
paddling
it.
gear.
He blew it.
No,
Next question.
That was 20 seconds. I was going to wrap it up in the last 10. Fuck, man.
Okay, we'll give you another chance.
No, I'm done.
Oh, good.
I don't even want to.
Okay.
No, let's end this
Let's
thing, 'cause I-
estig.
We were interviewed by a Trends
You're
magazine.
I love you, man.
Trend magazine, and they said that level 6 has the style of Volcom and the quality of Patagonia, and they said that we were between the two of them.
If you let me finish, that's what I was about to say.
That's good.
Everything we do from scratch. Similar to you guys, we don't manufacture in house because textiles doesn't happen anymore.
It's impossible.
But everything we do from the fabric sourcing, the fabric design, we always look at Patagonia as our top, what we're trying to hit, but we want to go with the style and the price point of Volcom.
I would say the other thing is
Awesome.
very similar to like Bending Branches and Aqua-Bound, where you can call in, like the service that comes with our product is unparalleled. Like you call in, you talk to the owner of the company, you talk to the sales manager, you talk to physical people that are here and that are passionate and understand the gear.
We had a ton of vacation. Summertime, everyone goes on vacation in Ottawa because you have either minus 30 or plus 30.
Yeah.
So everyone's taking vacation now. So I've been actually manning the online questions and the info questions.
Yeah.
And I was telling my wife, Carrie, that I love it. Like I love emailing and chatting with the end customer about why we do this or recommend this dry top or why is this latex better than someone else's latex. Not in that S&M side of things, but you know what I'm talking about.
Latex.
And explain why our supboards are designed the way they are. And I love it. I was saying to Carrie that that could be my full-time job. Just plug me in and call me and just talk about why we do things.
The owner of Branches is
I love
he's
it.
exactly the same. He
I
answers
love
the
it.
phone all the time. Like he answers the phone more than I do. Like if the phone is ringing and it rings more than a couple times,
Heads on it.
like he grabs it. I'm like, shit. Like it makes me look bad. But he loves talking to customers. He loves
amazing.
talking to dealers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love like explaining to them why we
I
do
hate it.
what we did. Oh man.
Yeah,
How are we
but-
doing for time?
We're good, but I just want to explain, like, Stig, it was really nice, but I'm just going to bring up Gone in 60 Seconds again.
It is actually a bad movie.
that was
Really? I like that movie.
No, it'd be like you
yeah.
saying you like your favorite movie is like Fast and the Furious 7.
Oh, I didn't say that. It's like God.
No, but it's
pretty
pretty
much
much the
the same
comparison.
movie.
It's the same movie.
It's
dude.
basically
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Sorry for speaking my mind.
Except it came out in like the
Yeah.
early 2000s. So, like,
So
we
when you
can't
call
hear
in-
Jesse, can we?
When you call in,
Yeah,
you
we can
speak
hear
to the owner of the
Jesse.
company.
Yeah.
You're getting Gone in 60
I like
Yeah.
that movie. I like it.
dude,
Was cool.
you need to.
I mean, I have other
watch the
favorites, but
movies.
I'm not going to change my mind now because it's what I believe in.
My girlfriend
Frozen.
thinks we're done. She obviously tuned out.
Frozen.
She's like, you did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, way to go, Susie.
Um,
Way to
it's like
tune out. We're still going. We're
What's
still going
happening
strong.
next for us? So people don't know, this is the back end of the industry. So we're pre-selling 2020. So like some of the new paddles are happening now. You're showing dealers with trade shows going on. I'm going to see you in Oklahoma City. We're going to see you in Oklahoma City. Then we fly to Germany for Paddle Expo. We just got our booth allocation today.
Are we in the same booth?
We're right next to each other.
Oh, sweet. Just like every other trade show.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Horst,
Awesome.
who runs Paddle Expo, amazing trade show. We are right beside each other.
You're gonna get a black eye this year instead of
For
me.
sure I will. So we hired a new European sales manager, Ben Campbell, who's doing the
that's
whole
right.
tour.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's going to be there.
Did you find that photo of Jake, by the way, with a sweet mullet and jeans?
He did.
Sorry,
I
it's
didn't.
just
No.
popped
No,
in my head again.
did you?
No, I didn't find it.
Oh, Andrew can
I really
send
wanted
it
to
to you
see that.
immediately. Probably I think he's got it. Like
Probably.
So what's next for us? We have
Paddle Sports Retailer.
You fly home tomorrow morning, super early.
Yep.
You're staying at my house tonight.
Yep.
It's going to be early. You probably won't even go to sleep tonight for sure. We'll be up for sure having some boozes,
Really?
stuff, drinking
Okay.
things. Then you are back home for a couple weeks. Then we
Yep.
go to Oklahoma City for Paddle Sports Retailer,
Yep.
Yep.
which is the largest paddle sports show in North America.
Yep.
See all of our dealers. Then back.
That's a great show. There's a demo.
It's
that
a
is
whitewater
the
site.
best demo ever.
Yep.
That's going to be a blast.
We're paddling this year. We've been paddling quite a bit. We actually crushed some laps in the pump house.
Saturday,
I'm hoping
I
I
tried to
Saturday.
teach Stig some newfangled moves.
Tell
Some millennial
what happened.
kayaking moves.
What happened? Tell me what happened when I was paddling down. And what did those other paddlers say when they saw me paddling in my plastic boat?
They could tell that you were a
Sploosh.
No, they said I could tell that you were a slalom paddler a long time ago
Oh.
because you still have the technique, but
I'm
it's
fat.
your timing's off.
Yeah.
So that's what they said.
That's what they said.
Yeah, word for word.
So
That's a
no,
direct quote.
it was a compliment.
Sorry.
Like it was nice.
not
But
what they
these,
said.
but the guys were also like 80 years old.
They said,
Yeah.
like when I saw you coming down, I was like, "Who is that guy? He should be a slalom paddler." And then they saw my face, like, "Oh, it's Stig."
Oh, it's Stig Larson,
It's
legendary,
Stig Larson, yeah.
slalom.
And then I
rider.
didn't let
Yeah.
that shit.
Yeah.
I was
fly.
paddling my new Brap, which is wicked boat, by the way. Anyway,
Yeah.
So, what was my question? Line of question.
What are we doing
What
next?
we're doing next, and then
I
Paddle
remembered
Expo.
something.
And then what happens next? Well, in Paddle Expo, we've
Paddle
got some
Expo.
wicked stories. Do you have some photos yet of the black eye?
No.
I can give him
No,
one right
right,
now.
my
so you can
hat.
get
I'm
the
wearing the
idea.
wrong hat. I'm not wearing my
Right.
little 6 hat.
What is your best
Costume
trade
change.
show story, Jake? Because we've known each other for a long time. We travel together, we work together, we see each other. Give us a good trade show story.
you wanted
I've
me
got
to-
one. I've got a good one that if you don't tell it, I'm going to tell it on your behalf. But
Of me?
of the last year's Paddle Expo,
You want me
2
to
years
tell
ago
the
Paddle
black
Expo.
eye story?
Well, you go. You tell me your best one first. And I'm gonna fill this one in next.
It's okay. So I've been doing this since 2001, and I know I look 24, 25-ish, but I'm actually 46. So by the gray hairs, there's a lot. God, you go first. Let me think.
All right.
I've been thinking about this all day because I
I'm
knew you were
gonna
going to
say-
ask this question,
yeah.
and I can't
I
even.
prepped you.
I know. There's
This
too
is-
many.
I would say this is my favorite. Well, I've got 2 favorite Jake and Stig Larson trade show experiences.
Okay.
They
Favorite-
often
Yeah.
That happens.
Favorite number 1 was a couple years ago. We were at Paddle Expo, and it tends to go around the time of Oktoberfest. And so we ended up going down to Munich after the show, and we went to this beer garden with the NRS guys, Todd, Dave Blue, Terry, a few others, and you and Noah, the Norwegian stallion, and myself. And we got there, drinking on the train ride down, found our way to the beer garden. I think you were done at, 7 o'clock?
We had
to go to Norway afterwards.
We had to jump on a train for Cologne, Germany.
Okay.
So we had a 4-hour train ride at the end of Oktoberfest.
Okay.
So we left at about 6.
So we were drinking the massive steins, and Noah, this iconic, he's like the perfect Norwegian,
He's actually American.
is he?
Yeah, he just lives in Norway.
Jesus, perfect
Yeah.
American.
Okay.
You're not allowed to drink
He's
and
actually-
sing anymore.
he's actually
at
Dutch.
Oktoberfest.
Shut up.
No. Here's the rule. You can stand up on your chair
Yeah, but you can't sing.
and you can chug a beer, but you can't stand up on your chair and chug a
chug.
beer because. Like, so people
Most
will stand
excessive
up on their
drinking.
chair
So you can
and,
sing.
and everyone will
Oh, yeah,
chant,
lots of singing.
chug, and so like he stands up on his chair and he starts drinking and everyone starts yelling chug, chug, chug.
Whole 10,000 people.
Yeah. So what's chug in German?
Chug.
What's chug in
1
German?
million.
It's chug.
Yeah.
There's at least 1 million people. If there was one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole thing started doing it and just
There's
chanting.
seriously like 1,000 people.
And they wrapped him up and they kicked him out.
They kicked his ass out.
Yeah, right away.
And the place was going wild. You can actually see this on.
It's probably on a Netflix special.
Really?
Yeah.
I got all the pictures.
Shitface in Germany.
It's on my Facebook page.
He ended up getting kicked out and he came back. He put his hair up in a hat and he walked in as a new dude.
He put his he took off his vest. He's wearing some Oktoberfest vest.
High security Germans.
And he's just like, this is cool. I'll go outside. And he smoked a cigarette or something. And then he walked right back in because once they kick you out, they don't sit there and make sure you leave. Yeah. They go back in to kick other ne'er-do-wells and misfits and rogues.
Yeah. So that was favorite store number 1. And then so I flew out at 4 in the morning.
Though. Like the whole place cheered because he was like going, as he's getting kicked out, he's like going, woo. And the whole place is just going wild. That was my best. Yeah, that was my story. Thanks for stealing it.
No problem. And so you left at 7. I left, I think, at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and I didn't know where I was going. Got back to the Munich train station, took the slow train back to Nuremberg. I didn't know how I got on the train, and I got back to Nuremberg at like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. I kept waking up from my not waking up from my pass out. Like, hey, are we in Nuremberg yet? Got to Nuremberg.
Oh yeah, because you didn't take the express train. You took the
slow
local
train.
So he stopped every
5 minutes. Got to the hotel.
Are we there?
My hand on the pillow, woke up, and then went to the airport at 4 o'clock. That was a wicked one. My second best Jake story was 2 years ago. We were out, and we were hanging out with Ben, our new sales guy, and my wife Carrie was there, and you were there with a bunch of other. There was a ton of people there. And we discovered Moscow mules a couple of years beforehand.
Delicious. We had a couple before this.
And we were out till 4:30 in the morning, I think. 5 o'clock in the morning, I think.
It was like
Ed,
1.
Ed, you have nothing to worry about.
Don't worry about this.
Your sales are in good hands.
It was 1. It was 1.
And we also, it was time to go.
This is European time, so it's all different.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we walked back to the hotel, and my wife and Jake and I went up the hotel elevator together. Jake's on the second floor, doors open. Jake, you okay? Get to your room. We'll see you in the morning at breakfast. We go up to our floor, and then the next morning, no Jake at the breakfast table, no Jake at the trade show in the morning.
Still in the elevator.
And we got a picture of Jake, and had a huge black eye. So what happened was, take it from here. What happened?
So my room was like 1,000 degrees.
Yeah.
And obviously it's much earlier in the U.S. when I'm in Germany. So I was talking to Susie on the phone. I think we were FaceTiming, but I was just like so hot, kind of like now,
it's
just
hot right now.
sweating. And so I was like, I'm gonna go outside. So I'm like walking back and forth in front of the hotel, talking to Susie, and I walk around the corner, and this dude on a bike goes flying by, and okay,
this is the best part.
the story that I told was that I almost got hit by the bike.
Yep.
But in reality, it wasn't even close to in no time was I in danger. But what happened was he scared the absolute shit out of me. And I was like, "Ah!" and I like shit my pants and bit my tongue off and like dropped my phone, and I fell and landed on my eye on one of those huge like cement planters, you know, with like a tree growing.
And your phone was like this, filming you, and Susie's like, "Oh my God, what's going on?"
I wish it was, but my phone went flying, and I'm like, "Oh my God, oh!" And Susie's like going, "What happened? What happened?" And so I picked up my phone, and I was like, "Oh my God, I just absolutely crushed my eye." And I went back up to the room, and I'm like still FaceTiming her. She's like, "Oh dear God, you look terrible." And I did. I just looked like a bag of smashed assholes. It was absolutely horrible.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Oh, they can see it right now. I got it on.
Oh, good.
You have it on the screen?
Okay. So then I show up, and I was, you know, it was the last day of the show. And actually, it was the best show we'd ever had.
Yeah.
Like, I was absolutely slammed. We're actually bringing Andrew to the show
this
year because I was so busy last year. And I was a little bit late getting to the show.
No.
I was, and not a lot. Not actually. I was
Yeah, you're pretty good.
pretty happy considering like what my face looked like. But I'm walking through, and my German distributor is right to the right as you walk in. So I'm walking in, and he's like, you know, I don't have a good German accent, but he's like, you know, what happened to your face? that was actually not bad.
That was good.
Yeah. So.
I'm gonna say what happened to your hair with this.
Yeah, did you get
Mullet on
the?
it?
Did you get the
Did
one?
Did you find a mullet
Yeah,
picture?
yeah.
Yeah. That's
I'm actually gonna make that my screensaver. Can you send that to me after? I'm gonna
Sure.
send that
yeah.
screensaver.
1991 in Wisconsin was similar to 1985 on the coasts. Right, because nothing, like fashion doesn't get to Wisconsin
sure.
for 5 years.
Yeah.
So, like, we're still rocking mullets in the early 90s.
Listen to Brian Adams.
Yeah, and so this industry guy, Chuck Joy, not a cool guy. Chuck, if you're watching, he's not watching because he's not cool. But I do like Chuck. But even like Chuck Joy is like giving me shit about this mullet. He's just like, you're rocking a mullet, and then because he lives in Maine or Boston or someplace on the East Coast, and so like, and I'm like, oh geez, even Chuck Joy's giving me shit. You know, but he's rocking like a Marine haircut, like for life.
In Canada, though,
You know.
they're known as hockey haircuts, so you would have fit in.
But that's
if you were
different.
just,
I didn't
like-
play hockey.
We just need to come north and then.
And play hockey.
Well, not even play hockey. It's just called a hockey haircut.
Oh, okay. Well, I could
Yeah.
still say we have amazing hockey where I live.
Well, I know. Yeah.
So
Minnesota's
that's
great.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there you go. It was
It's a hockey haircut.
It was a hockey haircut.
Yeah, it wasn't a mullet. It's a
Yeah,
hockey
it was a
haircut.
hockey mullet.
Like the Benny Marr.
All right, we've been going long enough.
Yeah.
I've got to
Any-
piss like a
any last
racehorse.
questions?
Russian racehorse.
Nope.
Any questions
No,
from
that's-
your
No less questions.
Susie?
No.
Okay.
Susie
Said you're doing
thinks we're
great.
done.
She's
Excellent.
She goes, "You did so amazing in the past tense, as if we're
she's
done."
already signed
Yeah,
off.
no, that was
she's
like
like,
half an hour ago.
great.
So,
Thanks,
My
Susie, for your
girlfriend
support.
is over it.
Any hate tweets? Hold on. Hate tweets?
None for
Questions?
you. I'm just going and scrolling through pictures of Jake's mullet
Okay.
right now.
so thank you very
Yeah,
much for
thank
tuning
you.
in. Thank you, Jake, for coming in.
I think
Really
we should
appreciate
keep
it.
going until nobody's left.
Dude, I got to pee so bad.
I was saying-
I think we should go until
As a
Pat
final
pisses
sign off as well
himself.
before, like,
2 minutes away from peeing myself. So go ahead. Just
so,
30-second piss.
I would say, no, I'm done talking. You keep going. I'll just say,
Thank God you're done
God.
talking because that was
keep your eyes on Benny
Boring.
Branch's Aqua-Bound and Level 6 because the next
Yeah.
6 to 8 weeks you're going to see a ton of new products coming out.
yeah.
So make sure you're following because I know you guys have new products coming out. We have some serious game changer coming out in the way whitewater
100%.
skirts are being made.
Hoverboards.
New machine. We designed our own sewing machine to create something that's
Yep.
incredible. We're launching.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Ridiculous.
Yep.
Ridiculous. So
2 new dry suits coming out.
yeah, two
bunch
dry-
of stuff.
Yeah, tons. But I think that our new rubber banded skirts are going to be industry game changer.
Yeah.
How we've done it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
So we have a box hidden behind my desk that's coming down to Paddle Sports Retailer.
Yeah.
We're going to be at the Whitewater demo, giving out free skirts, be able to try.
Well, not giving them out
Well,
for free. Demo
demo.
skirts. Yeah. Let's
We all
be
know
clear
what
about this.
demo means.
Yeah. We're not giving free skirts.
So innovation. You guys got to check it out the next 6 to 8 weeks.
We have a completely sustainable canoe paddle coming out that is made completely from scrap.
Carbon neutral.
Yes.
Is that
It's
what
going
it
to
says?
actually reduce all of our wood scrap.
Oh.
Which, so like right now we have, any chunk of a paddle that you can't, that is too small to turn into,
Yeah.
a chunk of a blade, either, we use it for kindling or we turn it into sawdust and then we use it for calf bedding in
Yeah.
farms and stuff. So we're very sustainable, but this is actually going to get rid of everything. So
Cool.
we're not going to have free kindling anymore
Yeah.
for employees,
workers
which is
are
kind
pissed.
of a bummer for us. But no scrap, and it's actually a really pretty canoe paddle.
Cool.
And
Like, is it pressed together?
yeah, they're pressed together
Cool.
vertically, and it's as durable as any of our other canoe
Love
paddles.
it.
So
Love
that's pretty cool. I'm
Awesome.
excited for that one, called the Catalyst,
Yeah.
Okay.
because it's actually a catalyst for sustainable. Right, it's going to change the world.
That's a good name.
I think that's Andrew.
That's a good
I
name.
think that's why, right?
Andrew came up with that?
Can't. Well, we do a
He's a
whole
smart guy.
consumer study.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Love it.
Yeah, no big deal.
So yeah,
Check
check it out. New stuff.
If you don't have an appointment if you're a dealer watching and you don't have an appointment for Paddle Sports Retailer, please
Dealers
contact us. Maybe. I don't know. I really don't have. I have no idea.
Last thing, Jake, Oh, sorry. You have more things?
No, I was just gonna say, if you're gonna go out and buy a paddle, buy a Bending Branches or Aqua-Bound paddle.
Yeah.
Jake is a super awesome guy. The rest of the team is super awesome. Thank you for coming in. We love you guys. I've got to pee so bad. So
Don't sign off. No, because what do you think of the IPA?
Oh, it's so delicious.
Christ's sake.
We got to do our critique.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
this is a
delicious.
delicious
We've got
beer.
an American here.
Oh,
He's used to Budweiser and
might
Coors Light.
need to leave this early.
What do you think?
well,
It's good, eh?
I think it's delicious. It's got a nice hoppy
Yep.
finish. It makes you
30-second
want to
pitch,
drink
let's go.
more. I never actually drank the Farmer's Daughter.
Try it. Oh, God. I can't drink that anymore.
Yeah. Well, any
Ooh.
undertone hints?
That's good.
That's
too.
nice. That's nice. That's a little bit of a softer finish aftertaste. A little blonde. Yep.
It's like kissing Susie.
Well, she's actually a brunette, so no, it's a little different. But she is a farmer's daughter. So yeah.
Any undertones or hints you want to talk about?
Yeah. No, tell us what you think about this.
I love the beer.
Undertone is
I've always been a big fan of Whitewater Brewery. Love you guys. Bye.
That's it.
See you later,
You're
Pat.
still alive.
He's like,
You're really
"Oh,
good.
I'm gonna
piss myself.
Bye, everybody.